Hi, what up, YouTube? This is No Cap, No Filter. I'm your host, Molly G, back at y'all on another episode of Running With You. And today we got to run about something that I've been meaning to speak on, but just they never get around to it until now. But it's better late than never. We got to talk about this Ice Spice situation, man. And a lot of these celebrities are getting into situations that could have been prevented, man. But Ice Spice, I know y'all probably seen it already. She had got into the situation up in McDonald's late night in Hollywood. And a lot of people have mixed feelings on this. But without further ado, let's go ahead on and get into the video footage that McDonald's just so happened have had. You know, of course they had it in Hollywood. I wonder if they had the same footage if it was in the hood somewhere.
Gas? Girl. What? Ready for what? Take gas. You take gas? That's what you do, you take gas? Yeah. So go take gas. So you from Cali? So go take gas. So you from Cali? Are you from Cali? Where you from? Are you from Cali? Where you from? Are you from Cali? No, I'm from Chirac. Where you from? Oh, you're from Chirac. Yeah. So where you from? So where you from? I'm from McDonald's. I found you. Well, I'm from Wayne.
All right, this is my whole take on this whole situation thus far. First of all, I think the girl drunk. I think she came in with her friends drunk. She seen Ice Spice up in and for whatever reason, she wanted to come to Ice Spice's friend first. For whatever reason, I don't know. Ice Spice's friend isn't a celebrity. I guess it's just some random white girl that she was with, but she wanted to come up to her friend first. And you know how girls are, trying to be funny and trying to be all, trying to shake ass and, try to have fun and all whatnot. And she didn't have a welcoming response. So when she didn't have a welcoming response, instead of just turning around and just taking the L, she wanted to meet that energy with some type of energy that's going to be provoking them. And, Ice Spice, she got, provoked to, meet her with another type of energy, to egg it on. And that didn't make the situation no better. I think this could have been diffused by not being in McDonald's at what 2 o'clock in the morning or something like that. I know it was real late, not being in McDonald's this late. If you're a celebrity, that's what DoorDash for. That's what, going through the drive-thru is for. That's what sending somebody to go get this for you for. Maybe sending your security or just somebody around that, that you could have to just run errands for you. Or if you're going to go up in there and you want to go eat, go ahead and have security. A lot of celebrities, they feel as though they don't need security because they feel like any situation that come to them, they can handle it. And a lot of celebrities, they don't want to feel like a celebrity to where they need security and stuff. They want to feel down to earth. I remember when Eminem said it a long time ago when this was before social media. He was so big. He said one of the most things that he can remember that he wished that he can experience again is just getting out to go pump his own gas. But he was so big, he can't even do that no more. So when you're a celebrity, you take for granted the little things you used to be able to do that you can't just do no more because you live in a shell. You got all this money. Yeah, you could pay for these things. You could go on these trips. You could be in these parties. You could have access to all these people, but it's certain things you can't do because of your fame. And on top of that, the fact that people know you, but you don't know them. You can meet somebody, they know you, they know you got a lot of money, and they have certain intentions, but you don't know them. And that's one of the hard things about being a celebrity. And I also think Ice Spice could have diffused this situation better. Yeah, the girl was drunk. Yeah, the girl took a L, but I think this could have been handled better to where it didn't make the girl get defensive and now got to act out and, try to meet a certain energy with another certain energy. So of course the girl didn't like how things played out, and now she want to get in Ice Spice personal space and then hit her. And I think that's another thing that Ice Spice could have handled better. You got to have situational awareness. You got to read body language. When a person is getting up close to you and the energy is in a threatening manner, you gotta be ready to defend yourself, and you gotta expect them to meet you with force. So Ice Spice should have never had, been hit like that in the first place. If she would have, you know, got up, she should have some way somehow got up and been ready to, block whatever punch that was going to be thrown to her. Let's continue. And you could tell she drunk because she just keep on repeating, where you from, where you from. When people is drunk and being belligerent, they usually repeat the same thing over and over, not making sense. This girl that Ice Spice is with, a lot of people are calling her out for not helping Ice Spice. But at the same time, if you Ice Spice, you gotta know your friends. I have friends that I'm gonna accept them for who they are. If I'm out and about somewhere with a certain friend and he's more reserved, he's more of a square, he more so a person that's not confrontational at all. And two dudes was to approach me, and I got to defend myself for whatever reason. If he don't jump in and meet them with force, and he more so just trying to break it up by talking and speaking and try to help getting someone else to help, I'm not going to be mad at him. I know who he is. I know the type of person he is. Now, if I'm out and about with a friend who I know about throwing them hands and going to help me, and he ain't for all the talking, and then he decides not to throw them hands, then I would feel some type of way that he didn't help me. But you got to know your friends, and that was another mistake by Ice Spice. If you're going to go out this late in Hollywood, you got to have some type of muscle with you. And this girl clearly wasn't that type of muscle. You can't be in a Super Bowl speak with Taylor Swift, all guarded up, and then be by yourself with a friend who not gonna bust a grape in a fruit fight in Hollywood. California targets these celebrities. That's why it's one of the most, check-in states, and they only do this to black people. They only do this to black artists, and Ice Spice, just by the way she got up and got on them tables, you already know she's come from a certain area that's with the shits. Because if she wasn't from that area, she would have just slid in the booth and then got out the regular normal way. But just by her getting on the tables, she's with the shits. But I do think that she still could have handled things better.
Wait, calm down, calm down. Mama. Let me fight her. Calm down, calm down. On your mama. Let me fight her. Let me fight a. Why would you want to fight me? Are you a bitch? Calm down. You want to fight a bitch? Why would you fight me, bitch? We get off on anything. Whoa! Whoa! Get her ass! Why you trying to fight me? Hey, don't jump her! Hey, don't push him though. Don't push him though. Don't push him because he can't hit you the back. Don't push him. Calm down. All right, but calm down.
All right, now as you can see, Ice Spice had got dropped. I don't know if the girl fell on top of her, or if she slipped or whatever, but I don't think she got hit and got dropped. Maybe some way, somehow she probably lost her balance or something, and it just was a tumble. But Ice Spice, a lot of people are giving respect to her, man. She held her own and she stood her ground. Me personally, if I have a girl, if I was to have a daughter, or if I was to have an old lady, I wouldn't want her fighting. That's just me. That's just how I see women. I think you should only fight if you push literally into a corner and have to defend yourself. Now, Ice Spice going outside to look for her, I don't think she should have did that. I think she should have just got up out of there. But when she was pushed into that corner in that booth, then yeah, I think she should have got it on right then and there, because that's a moment where you're defending yourself. But going outside looking for more, anything could have happened. They could have had a knife, they could have shot her, they could have robbed her, anything, Like I say, California is notoriously known for this type of stuff, especially with rap artists and black celebrities. But she also said, why you trying to fight me? Why you trying to fight me? I don't understand why Ice Spice said, why you trying to fight you? If you already looking for the smoke, you don't be no talking. You don't need no explanations for nothing. So that's what happened with this. Now I'm about to get into a video of the girl saying her side of the story. Meanwhile, she did not know that the cameras that was recording in McDonald's had audio footage.
McDonald's because we all had to use the bathroom. I was with my friends and everything, and we came from the beach earlier that night, and we decided to go walk around Hollywood or whatever. But before we did that, we decided to stop by McDonald's because we all had to use the bathroom. So then one of my friends, she comes out and she was like, "Oh, I think that's Ice Spice over there." And I'm like, "Oh, for real?" So I go up to them and I'm giving her and the other girl she was with compliment. And then immediately Ice Spice was just being rude. She was like, "Why are you over here? You could leave. Bye." And I'm like, "Why are you being rude?" Pretty much. And she was basically saying, like, "You could just leave. Bye. Like, I don't even know why you're at my table." Then that's when I proceed to ask her, like, "You don't got to be rude. I'm just giving you guys a compliment." And I'm like, "You know what? Where are you from?" She said, "I'm from New York." So I said, "Let me tell you something. I don't care where you're from." I'm like, "You in LA, you in my city now. You can't be out here disrespecting people. Like, if you wanted us to leave, you could have just politely said, 'Oh, I'm not.'"
Okay, okay. Let me break this down. She was drunk at the time, so the way she explaining this story is what she think happened. But she did go over there in a complimentary manner from what she was thinking. She trying to go over there and shake ass and have fun on them and just trying to show that she's a fun girl, and that's how women are. That's just how women are. You see it in the club all the time. Women don't even know each other from a can of paint. They start dancing on another girl, start patting another girl on the butt and all that. Like they get real like that, but that wasn't the time and place to do that. They're eating, they alone and by themselves. It wasn't a party. So that's why they didn't give her the welcoming manner, the welcoming energy that she wanted. And like how she said, she didn't really, like the welcoming, the energy that they was giving her. So she got defensive and she, tried to welcome them with bad energy. But you can't hit people off of something that they tell you to, go away from their space. Like that's one thing that people got confused. Yeah, you got freedom of speech, but consequences are going to come with this. And if you hit somebody, consequences are going to come with this. Now, a lot of people are saying Ice Spice can sue her, but the thing about that is she don't have nothing to get sued over. This girl is a very young girl. She probably come from a middle class neighborhood. She can't get sued. Me personally, I think in these type of situations, you probably should be able to sue the parents. But then again, I don't really agree with that because the parents ain't nowhere near around this. Their parents probably could have raised her very well, right? She just probably a bad kid, or just made a bad decision that particular night drunk with her friends. So the thing about this, I think you can, make her pay something and have her make jail time if you press charges. But then they'll say Ice Spice is a snitch when it comes to that. But somebody got to be held accountable, and an example got to be made so regular people don't get to do this, because now she's going to take this moment and now she's going to go on a clout chase. She's going to try to get interviews. She's going to try to, build her social media platform up. Maybe she's going to try to audition for baddies and she'll be known as the girl who had a fight with Ice Spice, and try to come off of that. And it's the sad part about this economy that we in. People who could just literally come off of some bullshit like that, you know. But if she do get a bag, Ice Spice probably could come back and then sue, and because people just got to be accountable. You can't just go around targeting people and you don't get held accountable with the law. You get rewarded by baddies culture, and you get rewarded by going on a clout media chase run.
In the mood or something, right? Instead of just yelling at me. So she kept going on. Then she calls me a bitch. So after she calls me a bitch, I hit her. So I hit her, and then so I got escorted out to McDonald's. And then so after they escorted me, I'm like by my car, and I hear Ice Spice in the middle of the street talking about some, "Where is that bitch at? I want to fight her with you, woo woo." So I come back down the street, and then that
Another point example. the way she's saying this story, I don't know. It probably could have happened like that when Ice Spice came looking for it and then she came back. I don't think a woman should go looking for a fight. I think a woman should only fight to defend herself. And she was lying saying Ice Spice was yelling. Ice Spice was not yelling. If anything, Ice Spice was saying, "Oh, her name is Wendy's or something like that, or she from Wendy's or McDonald's or something." And that little smart comment probably just made her mad and wanted to hit her, but she was not yelling, and I don't think she even called her a bitch. So she's lying.
That's what me and her fought again, and then she just kept talking a whole lot of mess. That's just like the brief of the story, honestly. And then as I'm outside the McDonald's as well, she picks up one of my homie's phone. She picks it up and she throws his phone and broke his screen. So it was just like basically she was being disrespectful and rude, which is why we fought. As a fan, I'm not expecting you to be rude or nothing like that. I'm thinking you're gonna, you're just gonna, oh, like thank you for supporting me, this and that. But she had a different attitude towards me. With Ice Spice, I have no like longer beef with her. Like I never had beef with her, nothing. But she lost the fan. I can't listen to her the same anymore. Like it's just now I know that you're like disrespectful and all of that.
So if she is not welcoming to somebody coming in her space, does that a person who's a stranger have the right to hit her in her logic? I just want to know. I just want to know. And of course, she's trying to get these 15 minutes of fame and just go run along with it.
No.
Might have seen her going viral from the Ice Spice incident.
No, for the ones who's confused, I'm not from Chicago, y'all.
What do you feel your homeboy's intentions were in the white t-shirt? Because he's getting a lot of flack because of him wanting to actually fight a female.
I thought that was her boyfriend.
So from your perspective, do you feel your homeboy's act?
You could tell this whole interview is low budget. Look, they got the goddamn flower vase on top of the boneless couch. Shout out to these boneless couches. If you ever moving in an apartment and you need something that's cheap, these right here come in the box and you could just blow it right up in a matter of minutes. They're real cheap and affordable. And if you ain't trying to spend a lot of money, you could get these type of couches. I got one myself.
Actions were in the wrong. Why you think her homegirl didn't back her or do anything? You think like why you? Because a lot of people were saying too. Well, how come her homegirl didn't? Would you be mad at your homegirl for not stepping in, trying to protect? What do you have to say to Ice Spice? Now that you're on camera, what do you have to say to Ice Spice and anybody out there, of course, what do you have to say personally to her so the public will know this from your direct mouth?
So Ice Spice, to you personally, girl.
They really trying to save all the answers from her for the full video. Like they just trying to really market this video like people really care about this girl. But who knows, man? Maybe little young 16, 17-year-olds gonna go check out this interview, especially people that's around her area, because I know right now she probably getting a lot of, attention on her as the girl who slapped Ice Spice, in her whole little area right now. So like I say, man, a person gonna try to treat this with a media run and just try to come up like I know right now she probably trying to get her social media up. After that, try to get some influence behind her, try to get some brand deals behind her. If things go left, she could do the OnlyFans. She probably try to get on Baddies, and then after Baddies, get on Drewski's show. Like the thing I hate about our culture and the thing I hate about our community is people reward terrible people that make terrible decisions with bad behavior and reward it and give them a platform. Krishan Rock got all these people helping her, trying to train to become a boxer. Yes, I could understand on the road to redemption. You're trying to be a better person. You're trying to get your life together. But man, what she did to that child was just inexcusable. And people just saying, "Oh, I love her. I love her. I got a soft spot for her. I love her." Meanwhile, she messed that baby up for life. Glorilla's sister, just airing out all the family business. Not everybody with her. You got Tory Lanez put her in his trailer for his, all these people just getting all these, platforms to, get rewarded for bad behavior. Selena Powell, she's on Drewski show. She's on this podcast, that podcast. Meanwhile, she's just a terrible person. And everybody be like, oh, I know the real them and all this. No, the real them is the person that they saying who they are on live. Like, you can't separate no, oh, this is just a character I'm playing. Like, I hate when people do that. I hate when people do that, bro. And that's one of the main things I hate about this culture in my community. But I want to know what y'all think down in the comment section below. Let me know who y'all think was in the wrong. Let me know who y'all think was in the right. If you like the video, hit the like button. If you're not subscribed, what you're waiting on. Until next time, I'm out.